Hello lovelies, this is Robin Dudley Howes, the artsy Bohemian, coming to you from my studio in Los Angeles, California. And I am going to be showing you today how to make really tiny little books that actually open. They're not hard, and usually when you buy the templates for the books, not all the time, they give you a little instructional, but I had a few people that asked me to show them, so I thought I would. I'm going to show you how to make the ones that actually open, and then some that are kind of more of like a hack, that look like books, but they're not really books, like these ones here. So I wanted to show you this because this is what I had posted on my social media, and that's where people were asking about making the little books, and they're so stinking cute. They're a little fiddly because they're so tiny, but I made some and put them on this little assemblage that I made, mostly using Tim Holtz, not mostly, but a lot of Tim Holtz stuff from his Halloween collection this year for 2019, and some other things. So I just thought I would kind of show you what I did, and I'm going to give you the woman who I got this, I was inspired by. Her name's Emma Williams, and I believe she's a Tim Holtz design team member, and she does really cool work. And her blog, where she posts everything, is stickydots.blogspot.com. I'll have it in the description below as well. But this is where I got the inspiration. It wasn't my idea. I saw it and I just went crazy because initially I bought the Tim Holtz paper dolls. I think that's what they are. Or, you know, they're little packages with all the cutouts and stuff. And I got it because of her, because I love her. And this is the same image that Emma had used. The same format. It's basically a Tim Holtz tag. It's a pretty big not chipboard, it's some kind of, I think it's MDF board. I made a little story up about the little girl, her name's Rosa, who wanted to become a fortune teller and a magic maker. And I'm going to be doing a show this weekend. If you're in Southern California, you might want to check it out. It's called Glitter Fest. It's in Fullerton, California. And I'll be showcasing her there and maybe sell her. I'm not sure if anybody's going to want to buy her. But anyway, the way that I put it together was the way that she talks about on her blog. She has a little bit of a tutorial, and then she has a list of all the materials that she used. I added a lot more than she did, just because for a couple reasons I didn't have some of the things that she used, and that's just kind of how I am. I had to kind of stop myself. So I used the base of the Tim Holtz tag, and then I started just layering. This is also the Tim Holtz floral botanicals cutouts that he has. She's also from that, the cutouts, this one as well. And the frame is a Tim Holtz frame, but I don't think it's the same one she used. I think it's a little bit bigger because I couldn't find it. And this thing right here is one of the Tim Holtz really heavy-duty chipboard frames that look like something from an old scrapbook. This is also, this curtain is from the Tim Holtz Halloween collection of cutout pieces. I can't remember the name, but like I said, she'll have them listed on her blog. And this is similar to what she used, but it's not a Tim Holtz. It's from Etsy. But if you can find the one from Tim Holtz, it's a little different color in the background. And then I added extra stuff. So these are from Michael's. These little cutouts, they're from the very few things that they have at Michael's right now for Halloween, for paper crafting. It's a raven. I call him Rupert, and this is Magic the Black Cat. This adorable little froggy was made for me by my friend Bobby Takashima. She's an amazing artist, and she whipped this little toady guy, I'm calling him Toady the Toad, out of epoxy sculpt, literally probably in 5 minutes. She just like whipped it out, made it for me. She was taking a class with me and she gave it to me, and I was just like, oh my god. So I've had him for a little bit, and I put a little hat on him. He's a little wizard. These are toadstools that are miniature. I don't remember where I got those. I've had them forever. This is cheesecloth. She uses the mummy cloth which I kind of think is a ripoff from Tim Holtz. It's basically that really fine kind of cheesecloth that I think you can get in the medical supply section. These are from Hobby Lobby, these little tiny cards, which are super stinking cute. This is a little cauldron that I got from, and it actually has a hole in it so that you can put stuff in there. I put some wax in there. It has a charm on it, but I cut off the bail and used it just as a little cauldron for the diorama. And I got that from alphastamps.net, which I'll put the link down below. And this is a very old thimble that had no top to it, so it was perfect as a little table. I put some lace on it. This is just a glass marble that I put on there to make it into a crystal ball. And then she had a really cool little ledge that she made to put all of her goodies on. I didn't have that, so I had to improvise. This is a cheapy little wooden piece of fake measuring ruler. And then this is a very old pencil that I've had in my collection forever, and it's orange, so it worked out perfect. So I glued those two together, and they made a cute little shelf for all the little goodies on here. Some very vintage tatting, and some filigrees for the corners. This is also from Tim Holtz, from his collection this year. And then this is just a tiny little skull that I use. You can get it in the beading section, probably at Michael's. And lace that edged it here, and this comes off. This is also from Alpha Stamps. And then I think I got this from Alpha Stamps, and I added that little rhinestone. So I just wanted to show you this before it possibly was sold, and it took me forever to make. These things take forever. Oh, here's another cute little thing. I bought this from one of my friends who has a collection of these. This is such a cool, I hope you can see it. It's a little third eye bead. I had never seen anything like it. It's probably from the Czech Republic. It looks like it is. And I thought it looked like a cute little purse. And I added a little rhinestone to her her headscarf, and I put some glitter, and I colored her in a little bit so it wasn't so black and white. So I did put a little bit of baby's breath behind here. This is 3D. So this, there's stuff in here. I mean, you can put your finger in there. I added some pearls along here, little tiny pearls. So if you have any questions, let me know. But really, the best thing to do is just go check out her blog, and you can see what she did. It's very similar. But like I said, I added a ton more stuff. Hers is a simpler version. And then I'm going to show you how to make these cute little tiny books. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different little books. They're super stinking cute. And I'm going to talk to you about the downloads that you can get. And I'll have the links below for a couple of different places that I buy the digital downloads. This one is really great because she has like a little tutorial that she gives you with the download. So everything I'm showing you here is pretty much just what she shows you how to do anyway. And it's everafterminiatures.etsy.com. And I really like these because they're geared towards miniature, and it's a 1:12 ratio, meaning they're good for doll houses. So it's 1 inch equals 12 inches in real life. And because they're geared towards doll houses, everything she makes, from what I can tell anyway, is legible. So, for example, when you buy miniature books, like another one I'm going to be showing you, they might come a certain size, and if you shrink them down, they're almost illegible, which is this one, which I still love, but this is Alpha Stamps. And I'll go over that in just a minute. But so the first thing I'm going to show you is a faux book front. And what I mean by that is this I had to shrink down several times. It was twice the size of this right here. And this is 25%, so you can see how tiny I made it. And so it's kind of illegible as far as the wording goes. You can still see it, but it's, you know, because it's shrunk down so tiny, it's kind of illegible. But it really doesn't make a difference because it looks really cute anyway. So I like this because when you're making your little altar or shrine or whatever you're going to be using these for, I kind of like having different sizes of the little books, and then different ways that the books are positioned. So, for example, this one looks like there's 3 books that are stacked, you know, behind. And I'm going to show you how I made this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out. And I pretty much prepped everything for this tutorial, so you didn't have to watch me cut and paste everything. But I thought I should show you something. So I'm just cutting the front. It just looks like a stack of 3 books. And you don't need much for these. You just need scissors, a bone folder, and some glue. And maybe a ruler if you want, but I'm going to be using some leftover cardboard, some recycled cardboard. So I'm going to be stacking several little pieces of cardboard together to make a faux book. See how tiny that is? So I already kind of started, and it's just some, you know, cardboard that was from a box. And I already cut a few pieces, a couple pieces, and I'm just going to glue them together. So all I did was loosely measure anyway. I hope this is focusing. You know, the size here. And what you'll see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stack a few of them up so that they're the same thickness as these 3 little faux book pieces. So I'm just gonna use some of this. I kind of like this new glue if you guys have ever tried it. The quick dry tacky glue. It dries clear, and it does dry pretty fast. So I'm going to stack a few of these together until they're the width that I like, and then I'll glue them to the back side. And for that, I'll probably, I think I might just use this glue. Sometimes I'll use the hot glue. So all I'm going to do is just, I'm not going to measure it, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and then cut another piece. And I might need maybe one more of these. Maybe one more. See, I'm just taking them and just lining it up so that it's the same size, and then cutting it. I'm going to glue all 4 of these pieces together. So see, I have this kind of thick sandwich of several pieces, and it looks like it'll probably, I might need one more, maybe 1 or 2 more. So you see what I'm doing is I'm kind of making a stack here to make it look like a little tiny book, a set of 3 books actually. So let's do another one. And I like how they're kind of wonky looking. Makes it look a little bit more real, right? So it's getting thick, and that looks like it'll be around about the size that I'll need for it. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Like that. squish it down. I'm going to kind of form it. And then when it's dry, I will kind of take my fingernails and kind of make indentations where the book would be, you know, to separate them. And then, so what this does is it, you can set it down, like I showed you in the little intro with that cute little shrine that I made. And it looks like, you know, you have these stacked up one way, and then you have some other books stacked up on the side. And then you can take, I have some faux pages of like some of these little books here, and then just cut those to size to fit on either side. This is also from Alpha Stamps, and I will have the link below. That's one of the resources I give as a secret resource when you sign up for my some of my online classes. I have my secret resource guide, and that's one of them. So you got to get one for free. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my fingernail and kind of I guess you could take a bone folder, but a bone folder is so thick that, and then it just kind of starts making it look more realistic. And so I'm going to take these little books, pages, and just kind of glue it down and then cut it. It doesn't matter, to me, that it's facing the wrong way, because you're not going to see it really. But, you know, it still kind of gives the illusion. Do that one like that. And just cut it. Probably should have cut it first, but that's okay. Do the other side. Then I'll ink it up a little bit, and that'll be the first one. So cute. Just take an ink pad and kind of run it over our faux book pages. So it looks like we have a stack of 3 little books that are really old. And just kind of scrape it on the side, and so there's one. Isn't that cute? And there's the sides. So that can be stacked in your little bookcase. Okay, so the next one, just make sure you maybe to have a little bowl to put your books in, because you'll lose them if you don't. They're so tiny. You'll just think they're trash. Put it this way. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is from the everafterminiatures.etsy.com, and you can buy lots. She has lots of different really cute books, not just Halloween, lots of different themes. So they come like this, and they're really easy to assemble because she tells you exactly how to put them together. So I cut one out already, and I cut the strips, and basically you just glue the strips together, and they make like an accordion fold, and then you're going to glue the pages together. And I'll show you how to do that. I already started one here, so this is kind of how it came, like this. And then you can see right here it says glue this page to the back of the last page, which is this one right here. I started the accordion file, the folder, a little bit different, but it's okay because I can glue the first page to the cover here. And speaking of which, you're going to take some cardboard, or cardstock, not cardboard, but cardstock, and make it a little bit sturdier. So I am going to cut this piece here, about there. And you can put a spine in there, but I'm not going to, because it really, I mean, it's so tiny that you can get away with doing this. So what I did was I just, you know how you make a regular book and you put cardstock or book chipboard really in there to stiffen it up and make it sturdy. You're just doing this with the same thing with cardstock. It's late. So I'm going to stick that in there, and you can see I already made the folds here. They go in like this, and so you can see right here, you're just going to cut that out, and it shows you where to fold it. Oh, it's so cute. Look at that. And then, so I glued that down. And I'm going to go ahead and glue the tabs down. See. Actually, I think I'm going to do these two, the sides first. I didn't really cut it very well, but that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and fold it. You can see where the binding is. And I'm going to fold it on that side and then on the other side. So that I'm going to have this tiny little binding. And I just have my fingernail behind, kind of pressing it in on one side. And then I know where to bend it. And I'm going to take my bone folder and go ahead and press that down. And by doing this, what it does is it automatically gives it some age. You're not going to have to age these because the dye from the ink kind of comes off when you fold it and kind of mess with it. And I'm going to do the same on the other side of the binding. Just kind of press my fingernail where the line is and then fold it on that other side. So now I have a binding to put my signatures in. See? Okay, so I already did this side. I'm going to cut this off. And the trick is making sure that you're going to start. So if you have your pages folded like this, the next page it says glue this page to the back of the last one. That means you're going to make sure that the fold goes in the same direction that you started. So I'm going to do this. A little tricky because it's kind of hard to see where the lines are. And I was just going to do this off camera and show you, but I thought I should at least demo part of it. So see, I'm just folding it like you would an accordion. And you just try to keep the pages fairly even. And the thickness from this will create a nice place to set into your binding. And it's kind of a cute little, it's an ingenious little way to make the book pages open. This isn't my idea. I didn't come up with this. This is, like I said, from this little tutorial, which some of the sellers have on their Etsy stores when you're making these little books. Not all of them. A lot of times it's just the book covers that you can buy, and then you just fill in with your own style of pages. So you see how I did that. It's not perfect, but I'm okay with that. And I left this on here just so I can tell that this is number 2. This is the second part of the binding. So now I'm going to glue these together. And so obviously the thicker your binding, the more pages you're going to have. Some of them have 4 accordions, but for the purpose of this video, I chose the one with the smallest one. So you glue that down like that. And yeah, this glue dries really fast. So you have this little accordion. And then, see how this is right here? Then you're going to glue. Normally you don't do this part, but this is because I folded it the wrong direction. I'm going to glue the first page down like that. But before I do that, I am going to glue the pages together. There's one. There's 2 accordion folds. 3. So let me just show you what I'm doing here. So what this does, see how that happens? So it gives you a front and back to each page. It's so stinking cute. And that's how you get the pages to open up like that. And so you're just going to keep doing that until they're all glued together. There. So now I have these 2 flaps. One's going to go on the front as the cover on the cover. Just make sure you're doing it on the right side, and see how that just fits right in there. It's so thick because of all the pages, of all the little accordion pages, and then when you glue it down, that's all you have to do. There's no sewing. You don't have to sew in the signatures like a regular journal or book. So just set an afternoon aside and have fun. Look at how cute that is. And you have your little spell book for your little Halloween assemblage. And I'm just going to kind of push this down. And it does dry quick, this glue, so you don't have to wait too long. I'm just going to make sure that any of the glue that's kind of squirting out is not going to glue any of the pages together. So if you don't have pre-printed pages like this for an accordion, then all you have to do, because I did one, make sure that's all down. So there you go. So you have this, and then you have another one here. and kind of stack them up. So this one I had started, and it's the same, it's another company that's on Etsy, and all it was just digitals of the actual book cover. So I backed it with some cardstock, and then I aged it, and then I took just a strip of paper, just like we did here, and made an accordion, and I aged it, and then I folded it, and then I'm going to just stick that in there, and I have another book that's a blank book, so it can be written in by a fairy. And that's all you have to do for that. It's the exact same process that we did here. So I hope you enjoyed that video, this video. They're really fun to make, and you know, you can do any theme that you want. And make sure you give my video a thumbs up, and that you subscribe so you can be inspired weekly. And don't forget to check out my online school and my social media. Become my Facebook friend if you want. Follow me on Instagram. And I will see you in the next video.